Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Trading for a Living podcast with me, Rudo, and we're going to be talking about a few things today. ETH just made a beautiful new all-time high. Let me bring the audio down, let me bring my charts up. And it created a big question for myself, where we're at within our alt season roadmap. I also want to discuss the point and figure, as I explained to you guys last week, when we create these gaps, those are areas where the market will typically go and revisit again. So the big thing is, and the big question that we need to discuss for today, is this a buy zone or are we going to go higher still? Then what supports the little bit of crazy that I expect for us for the beginning of this week is the CME gap that got created after Sunday's nice Bitcoin pump. So to take all of that back to where we are with Ethereum and its long-term accumulation, we're looking at 2021 May. It took 4 years and a lot more for everybody that's ever owned Ethereum to see a little bit of profit. Well, not quite so much. We're not an all-time high just yet. So there's still some people having that's got ETH bags in drawdown, So big week for us for Ethereum. And then obviously Ethereum has always been the path to alt season, with Bitcoin slowing, with momentum slowing on BTC side, Ethereum starting to outperform. What is next? What alts are we going to be looking at to try and say, okay, well, maybe you missed the ETH bus, but what else can I get into? So if this all tickles your fancy, want to know more, you know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Drop me a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from, what you're hodling, that kind of thing. And if you're new to the channel, just say hi for the sake of that. Hello, Danny. Hello, Stanku. Just to be nice. James, nice to have you here, my friend. And Chris, nice BTC pump. But I believe we have a CME gap. So, Chris, tomorrow I'm going to invite you to be the host because you don't need me. I can let you guys do the thing. You've already got everything covered. Well done, my friend. Okay, so let's get into this. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys is obviously about the CME gap. Now, let me just take away the camera there or make it like this, whichever works, Peter will decide. When we look at CME gaps, it's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So you need to think about New York or, New York trading day open, which is the first thing when we think about CME gaps. Then what we do is CME gaps is when the market moves, but the CME doesn't trade over weekends. So that's when they form. So because we had a Sunday pump, there's a gap. If everything stayed flat over the weekend, no gap. Okay. And the significance is typically we can use these to try and time entries because they tend to get filled. Now, how often? Now, there's a lot of studies out there, and there's a lot of ways that people can argue when is it filled, and do you need to move through the entire gap? Can you touch the top of the gap? There's a lot of charting way that one can argue that. But I think for me, the interesting thing is when we think about the timing of it is that 50% of these gaps get filled on the Monday trading day, which means today we might see a retrace back to $118,000 of BTC before we go on higher. That is the statistical most probable next event that's going to happen for us. And then if it doesn't happen today, 30% of them do get filled within their first week. And then thereafter, they do get filled in any case. There's about a statistical number between 65 and 95%. Depends on how you look at that. But they do get filled. So to conclude on the CME gap for today is that, excuse me, guys, is that where we're at right now, betting money is probably waiting here to buy to try and drive things higher. Now, the retail way of technical analysis could be this. Simply draw a line and say, well, now we broke out of the flag or whatever you want to call this. Okay, there's obviously many ways to skin a cat. And once we do that, we'll go and test the scene of the crime. Same as when you break trend, it's the same. We'll go test the scene of the crime, wherever the trend was broken, before we continue on higher. So that's the simplest way to look at this, which means that when we look at Ethereum and ETH's massive breakout, one can argue that we could draw the exact same line and say that, okay, now that we finally got out of this bearish momentum that's been spanning since 2021, okay, finally got out of this, we could see a retrace back. Now, how would we go about this retrace then? If Bitcoin needs to go fill the CME gap and ETH potentially needs to go test, it's simple. The easiest tool that I use is the weekly overlap. And I'm going to use Bitcoin and Ethereum to explain. So when we look at weekly charts, this is Bitcoin weekly time frame. I've been saying to you guys now for forever, Bitcoin is in the last of a bull market. Bull market. It's in the last, the dying throes of it. Why? Because we're creating strong bearish divergence on the RSI with price making higher high. So it means that, what does it mean? It means that as price is going higher, the buying volume is going lower. So think of it like this. How many people in this room? 108 people. All have already bought Bitcoin. And there's maybe one new guy that's going to join now that hasn't bought it yet. But price still keeps on going higher. So the question is this sustainable? If it was the opposite, there's 110 people in this room, 99 hasn't bought yet, and it's going higher. It means that there's still a lot of volume going to come to support the price. So if it doesn't go any much higher, all the 100 people that's bought now is going to either take profit or be scared to go into drawdown. So it means that if things go wrong, the selling pressure will be so much higher because we don't have insane gains between where we've bought. And that is what lack of momentum is. This is all that this chart basically slows down. So if you take this now, when we think about Ethereum real quick, okay, this is the opposite now. Nobody has bought this pump. Why? Because look how fast it was. Okay. Now the situation is that all of this accumulation, the whale, the spot ETF. So scratch it. It's not nobody when I say nobody, but I mean retail probably. All of that accumulation has now taken effect over 4 years. So that supply is taken out of the market. So it means that you don't need a lot of buyers, a lot of FOMO to drive this thing up, say, to $8,000 a coin. And that is the kind of great news that you want to see. So how would we try and look at that then? We want to see the volume. If you look at the volume there at the bottom, we want to see that increase as price goes up. And that is happening at the moment. Now, what I've done is I've loaded the volume moving average, and I put it to 100. You can put it to 50, whatever works for you. 50 is just going to be a little bit more up and down, you know. But the overall consensus here, if we look at the volume here, is that as price is going up, the moving average and the volume itself, you know, the moving average of the volume is going up. So it's telling me that more and more buyers are coming to the table as price is going up, which makes this sustainable. Now, if we go back to Bitcoin and we look at this. Now, remember, guys, exchanges to exchanges can change as well. If trading volume moves from one exchange to another, you might see a difference in volume as well. So it's a tricky one. But the general consensus, as you can see, as price is going up for Bitcoin, the volume has increasingly went down or gone down. So at some stage, there is going to be a big flush. So the fact that we're in this divergence spill, and I know my chart's very messy. So if you're new to the stream, saying, what is all the stuff on the line? But it all is there for a necessary reason. But that is the worry that we need to just keep in the back of our minds, which bodes well for alt season. Why? Because as the cycle goes, Bitcoin needs to lose momentum to give momentum to Ethereum so that the money can go from Ethereum, once it reaches its targets, to the other coins. Now, why do I say that? Simple. If we look at Ethereum to its Bitcoin pairing, let's load ETH to Bitcoin pairing. What historically has been the trend? Remember, the trend's your friend until it bends. So we have to treat it like it's going to do that again. So if you look at Ethereum to the BTC pairing, historically, it outperforms Bitcoin for a very short time. Now, 105 days in this instance. ETH was flying against Bitcoin. There, 70 days. There, 56 days. 56 days. And then for all of this, nothing. So have you missed the bus for Ethereum? No, you haven't missed the bus. It hasn't even made a higher high yet. We're still trying to break out. That's how early we are. So you don't need to FOMO in, which is the second part of the message. You don't need to FOMO in short term because we've got the CME gap that is probably going to bail you out. Okay. And you don't need to FOMO in on a long term just yet because we still have ETH not even trending bullish against Bitcoin. We've not even made a higher high. We still have hidden bearish divergence. Go break that, then it's our first higher high. Then we could potentially start establishing a weekly trend. Because think about it. Although that then starts establishing the trend, that alt season that we're looking for, that one where one ETH makes 10 BTC instead of, if you had 1 Bitcoin's worth of ETH, it turns into 10 Bitcoin, by the end of the ETH pump. That has not even started yet. Okay, so we're still early, so don't chase the pump. Okay, that's it. Right. Let's quickly go to the comments to see where you guys are at before we take the TA a little bit further. Let's see what we have. Australia, we're able to look at LMU. No, I probably won't be able to look at that, buddy, but Danny, thanks for joining in from Australia. Top of the morning to you, Altec. Let's see what Ashton has to say. Hendrik Zerberg warns we have 10 weeks left for blow off top. I tend to agree with the guy. His warnings is a little maybe too aggressive to my taste, but he gets to the point. I like the idea, and it brings us back to this chart. Like I've just shown you guys, Ethereum, alt season, short term, just quick little move and then it's over. It's the exact same thing with a bubble or nearing a top. We could see insane gains in the next 2 to 3 months. But statistically, between halvings, we always see that price tops out at around 38%. So this is just a normal FIB, guys. You can draw it yourself. Go there and load the FIB time zone. There it is, this tool. And you click between the 2 halving dates. You can go mark it out on your chart yourself. And then there's the settings. The 38.2, which is the blue line, blue vertical line, and the 618. It's the orange vertical line. So it's simple. So now you can see that statistically, we've always bottomed at the 618. We've topped at the 38.2. Okay, topped, bottom, topped, bottom. So why would this be different for now? It's going to be the exact same thing until it isn't. And I know a lot of people say, but this time it's different. Guys, they always say that. It's always going to be different. It's only going to rhyme. It's never going to look the same. But when you look back at it, it's going to look exactly like, I know what I should have done. It's the same as the last time. In the moment, it's going to feel different. The market has to trick you up. It has to trip you up. It has to create these uncertainties because otherwise everybody would be rich by now. And it just doesn't, it's not made to, it's not there to make you rich. It's simple as that. It's just the nature of it. Okay, yeah, so I agree, maybe blow off top. But the golden rule here, guys, is we do not buy and trade and hodl towards a prediction. Because, Ashton, that's how you burn your fingers, my friend. What do? We take things level by level. So let's continue on with the TA and talk level by level. Okay, so the important level for Ethereum now is that we want to stay above this little cluster, this little demand zone that was created here. And if we zoom in, I'm going to take this weekly analysis now to a 4-hour analysis because I want to zoom in on this picture. What are we finding at the moment? Right now, this given stage, we're creating strong bearish divergence. So if you want to, short Ethereum, the argument is that it's a good time to do that on the basis that Ethereum is due. Oh, now I deleted the line. Ethereum is due a little correction. Okay. What's the little correction? Well, moving back down just to these levels here so that we can have hidden bullish divergence for the continuation. Because in the end of the day, if we're busy breaking out, there is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. on the argument that this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe that's the case. This looks more realistic like this, meaning that there might be a, sorry guys, an A, B, C, which is fine. It's just a bigger version of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a bigger version of us trying to break out. Okay. Now, I do this with Elliott Wave just to kind of give you guys a gauge of what is happening. So let's scale this back to the weekly time frame. All of that crazy, all those FIP counts and stuff, all of that is just pointing to us trying to get a little bit of a support test before we can move on, meaning that will be the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the big 5. Okay, and all of those small waves eventually will turn into all these waves that sits in there, and the 5 wave that's in there, and so forth and so forth. That's all. Okay, and taking things level by level, there's a golden rule then. Let's go back to the 4-hour. Although I see divergence and I'm saying, yeah, maybe we go down, and I've got a nice green line there pointing, there's a support level that we need to keep in mind. So you stay bullish, you stay with the game as long as it stays above the support level. And it's very simple. There it is. 4,262. Thou shalt not cross. Why? Simple. We might have strong bearish divergence, but we know that that is in effect a bullish signal unless we fall below the support. And where we're at right now is a really good opportunity for you to maybe buy some Ethereum short term, because we know long term that there's still the potential for this. But what if Ethereum is going to run for a whole week and we're only going to fill that CME gap by the end of the week and so forth? And that's when we come back down. I don't know. You don't know how the future is going to look. We don't know. So all that we do know is that we're staying above support, and that's the level to hold. Now, say you're in Ethereum. You can use the same argument now. Well, I'm in Ethereum. I want to try and ride this for as far as it goes. But as soon as we start trading below this area, we'll probably go make a lower low. We'll probably go test these levels. So I could take some profit and buy back Ethereum at a $400 premium in a little flash crash before we continue on higher. Okay, so I'll leave that to you to decide, because I cannot give financial advice, guys. I don't know where you're at. I don't know where your buys are at. I don't know your investment horizon, your trade horizon. All these things are unique to each and every one of you guys. But the critical level, and that's the only thing that we need to look at now, is 4,262 for Ethereum. That's it. That's all. Okay. So over to the comments, and we're going to look at some alts. Okay. Let's quickly see. Rudo, could you please take a look? So there's more requests. No requests. I tend to do that in the Discord, my friend. So if you want a request, go and have a look at the Discord. Might be that your coin is one of those that's on the agenda today. And if so, you're lucky. Let's quickly do a quick shout out to our channel sponsor, BYBIT. If you want to support the content, all you need to do is open your own BYBIT account using my affiliate link. There it is. It will pop up and it will show you their crypto EMC. It gives you deposit bonuses and all those things. But more so, it gives you access to the Discord, the trading activity. It allows you to text in the Discord and so forth. And also gives you access to my buddy indicator. So let's quickly have a look at how the buddy indicator performed over the weekend. Okay, so here we've got Ethereum in a nice breakout. There the buddy indicator said, strategy SO3. It populates the lines at the end of that tag. When the tag gets created, the lines gets printed. So you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles to get in on the purple entry. Okay, it tagged at the top of the entry 2 times. Okay, so there's your entry. Stop there. TP1, TP2, TP3 all got hit. Then it had another breakout over the weekend. It gave you the entry again. So breakout entry. All the conditions says more. Enter between the purple lines. Oops. TP1, TP2, TP3. And it did it again. TP1, TP2. Maybe a TP3 on its way. It's a simple indicator. It helps you know what to look for. If you go and have a look at the indicator on the inside, it tells you all the various strategies. This is the breakout strategy. If you were to try and time a continuation, that would be the strat 4, hidden bullish divergence, which means this is now when things look bearish, but it's a buy. because we're holding above support and we're looking for hidden bullish divergence. What is clearly there? Lower low in the RSI, higher high in price. Okay. TP1 already hit on that one. Okay. All this and more, the tools and how to use that is available in the Discord. So if you head over to the Discord, load 1, 2, 3, maybe this one's already loaded. There you go. It is under the how to use tools channel. There's the buddy indicator video there, and there's more education on that. Educate yourself so that you're empowered, so that you don't wreck yourself. Simple as that. Okay. Right, my friends. So there you have it. And that you can get for free if you have a BYBIT link. And if you've already got a BYBIT account and you want to still have the advantages, you can always transfer your KYC. It's very simple to the new BYBIT account that you create with my link. If you click on the navigation channel in the Discord and you click on Get Partner Roles, there's a, stop telling me this stuff. There is where you claim, you open the ticket there. It's just a normal Discord ticket. You click on your name. It opens a one-on-one. It gives you a little rundown of everything you need, trading view, ID that I need, and your BYBIT user ID so I can verify that. And then if you want to transfer your KYC, you can just go to partners in the Discord, click on BYBIT, and there is a link, transfer your KYC. So it takes you to the BYBIT website. So you can just click on it and check it out. Okay. Or go to their website and do it yourself. You don't need to follow any of the links. There you have it. Okay. So now over to the alts, 21 minutes in. Let's see where we're at. If there's any other questions regarding trading, trend, or anything like that, let me know in the comments. I'm going to take a sip of water, and then we're going to have some altcoins on display. Okay, I'm going to start off with Solana because it's one of those that everybody is still in love with, and it's still impressive performing coin. So I marked out the Elliott wave count for you guys. And I explained hidden bullish divergence. This was the buy. We had hidden bearish divergence that that played out. And now we have deleted any other signs for hidden bearish divergence. So this is a bullish coin. Everything on this is bullish now. So all that you need to now know is that the market will do what? Areas where there was fast moves like that in the future is where it's going to be sticky. So if we move this line in there, and I'm just going to try and take away the RSI real quick. This is going to be a sticky area. So I'm going to mark that as supply. I'm going to mark this as more supply. So as price is now around this wave, going to try and create a new axis. So it's going to try and revolve around going up into this area. So there might be a little hesitance here. By the dip scenario, meaning, whoops, we have the CME gap full, maybe a little quick flash crash on a Monday, and then we reclaim this level. This means that our only next time to worry about taking profit from the original buy is when we start hitting the limiter here. And then that only, on the bigger picture, could be this equivalent again, hitting the limiter there, then get above that level to see price go to 290, 280. Just to complete the third wave, which could then potentially then still take us into a fifth wave, take us to about $300. Now, statistically, guys, if you look at this from a gains point of view, your most probable amount of gains, when you look at your FIB extension, this one, taking it from the low to the high to the retrace, statistically, your next wave, if this is a 1, 2, your 3 would be 618. And then once we've done that, say we're right, and that is where it ends up, then your 4 retrace, wherever that's going to be, it can be a little bit lower, wherever that would be. Statistically, your 5 would be your 618. If we go bull market parabolic, this is when you have your 3618, your T618. This is when this happens. But that's when we're in this kind of environment, when things start going like that. We're not there yet. We're still nice and everybody's still rational at the moment. So let's not try and sell ourselves on $1,000 Solana just yet. Let's be rational still. Euphoria is the biggest trap in the end of the day. once something is going up that much, people would not want to sell, regardless of all the danger signs. We're not there just yet. So we're still early. Okay. So that is Solana. Let's see what else we have here on our list for today. I want to talk to you guys about AVAX, because AVAX was our first big mover. So first wave, we have not yet broken through our resistance. You're still early with AVAX. Okay. AVAX, we still need to get to 3. We still need to have a retrace, and we still need a lot more gains to be had. Long sideways accumulation, which means once AVAX leaves this level and starts moving into these ranges, your gains are going to be immense. Okay. With TPs at around $35, maybe even $42 for where it can go. Now, I just said statistically 1618, which means it lines up with that area there. But if you zoom out to this thing on the weekly time frame, what do we have? Long accumulation, just like Ethereum now has. And then this is the area where I think the massive resistance will be around 84. So if we take this back to the 4-hour time frame, buying at 24, driving this thing to 84, that's a really good trade. Now, why are we not looking at some random new fart coin or something like that? Well, simple. When we look at historically, it's first the large caps that starts moving once Ethereum gets a move on. Then all the small stuff will go parabolic at the end. So we can cycle our money. So you can try and front run and buy them really dirt cheap now and get in on them, and their gains will be, as things will go up, they will start going up. Or you can have the parabolic rises with these ones now, which would be next. I mean, ETH did 20% in 1 week, okay? These would be next, and then take profit. Be the guy that acts from strength, not from weakness. Don't ever let it stop loss being hit as you moved it up. Don't call that taking profit, because that's not. That's acting from a point of weakness. Taking profit means I'm good enough now. I'm happy. I'm out. I'm going to look for the next one. Strength. Okay. So that's what we want to do. So we want to take profit on these ones so that we can go and have a look at the next ones. Okay. Another one that is flying at the moment is look at Link. Okay. So I'm saying AVAX is sitting somewhere here. Now, which one would you prefer from where we're at right now? This from AVAX or this from Link, you know? And yeah, that's just the story. So Link is doing really well. Link is a first mover. When ETH moves, Link moves. But then it stops moving and everything else needs to get their moment to shine. So you missed the bus here. So if you're in Link, great. You ride this thing, because there's nothing telling you that it's going to stop yet. Okay, so ride the thing. But if you don't have any Link, just don't go and be stupid today. Rather look at the next one that it's on its way and be patient, because each coin will have its moment in the sun. Okay, the only one thing we can't know is which day is going to be which one. That's the sad thing. Now, I said keep an eye on Uni, guys. Uni is flying. Okay, so we went to support. The idea was that it's going to bottom out at around $8 in the end of the month, and it could be that it just sits here and then comes back down and runs, or just ignores this time analysis and just keeps on going. The end of the story is if you don't have any risk in the game, you're out of the game. So I'm using this still as I've got a little bit of Uni. There's a lot going to happen there. Just keep an eye on that one. Okay. Uni is still a big one. And then XRP, which is flying at the moment, up 4% for the day so far. Okay. It's on its way to create that final wave. Okay. Broke the trend. We're moving. You see exactly what I mean by breaking the trend. We go and test that area, then we run. So with XRP at this stage, I mean, guys, you can track it down. You can draw these kind of triangle patterns. Why? Because it will work now. Because when it pumps, all TA works. Okay, it's simple. The market allows everybody to be right occasionally so that they can be wrong consistently. So where we're at now, this kind of stuff will work. So buy at 328 and ride this thing. It's going to work. Okay, now my next big moonshot, like I said, we had our initial run. I'm keeping this coin on standby. NEWT. There's a lot of fundamentals behind this from a price manipulation point of view. And we know what happens. We trap this area, and then we will go and retest that area. This is a really good accumulation zone. Okay. Example, ENA. I was looking at my exchange balance this morning. I was like, where does all the money come from? And then I remembered I bought a shit ton of ENA the other day, and on this Blowfin account, which I completely forgot I did. But I'm happy I did, because, hey, this thing's flying. It's flying. There's no reason to get out of this. Okay. But it's exactly like the link thing. It's going to have its moment, just like AERO had. Okay. Let's maybe go into this. Okay. And it could potentially grind down and then get its another kick. Okay. So AERO for a long time was boring. And guys said, yeah, but the momentum's gone. It's lost. And I said, as long as we stay above this area, that's going to happen. Okay. So now you're getting it. Now you're getting the benefit of being patient with this one. But understand, that's the higher high level that I'm looking for. Okay. Get through that. Then we've deleted all that divergence. Then there is the potential for maybe another retest. Could consolidate here a bit. So I don't know how the future is going to look, but the gains are good. So where it's at right now, no reason to get out. Stay in this thing. Ride the wave. Enjoy the gains. But yeah, that's it. Just keep in the back of your mind that at one stage, this is how it looked. And what did AERO do? Then it needed to consolidate at some stage. So ENA will probably need to consolidate at some stage. So what's your job? You need to take profit at a point. Okay. Now you can argue that there's divergences between these levels, but there's waves in between. So I'll wait a little bit before I start saying, hey, maybe there's a thou shall not cross line. Allow this thing to work for you. Okay. Coins that we're also looking at that we liked was OP. OP has now done what? Strong bullish divergence, stayed above the pivot, and broken the trend. I would rather look at OP if I'm sitting with stable now than try and getting on ENA again. This is a trader coin now because the momentum's there. You can leverage some positions in there. Let the momentum kind of put profit into your account. But if you want to buy spot, OP would be a better deal for me at this stage. Okay. Still no higher high, but we're breaking trend. We've got a clear invalidation now. If we fall below 58, shit's bad for OP. Okay, so between where it's at, I know it's a big zone, but remember, this is spot. So you can always narrow it down or buy as close as when we get close to these levels, which we had 3 opportunities now, and I shared that opportunity with you guys. Okay, coin that I'm still going to sit on my hands with. I'm not going to touch it. Celestia. Nothing has changed there, guys. It is looking good. But until we go and get that high, this thing was trending down bearish really badly. Give it some time. It will get its moment. Okay. Examples of coins that go to that 50% liquidity and then go and visit the bottom. HYPE is one of those. And now what is it doing? It's kind of going against the analysis, but the market's exceptionally bullish at the moment. So give this one chance. If this starts consolidating, building a range here again, I would recant this and say, okay, right, I'm not looking for the buy at $20 anymore. I will then buy here to try and ride HYPE into new all-time highs. There's outliers. Not all of them are going to look like your SUI did in the beginning or your HBAR did there. Not all of them are going to do this. They could literally run past it and that happens. This is just statistically the most obvious play. Okay. Now we looked at SUI. Let me just take a sip of water. 34 minutes in, almost going to wrap this up. So we looked at SUI, and where it's at now, it is getting above the axis, bouncing off support. Okay. We've now got hidden bearish divergence. So expect maybe a retrace back to 3.6. And then maybe SUI then breaks out and starts going into crazy territory. This has been one of the strongest performing altcoins. And the fact that we are doing this kind of range-bound stuff, this is really good because we're building a base to press off from. So keep an eye on SUI. And definitely there's going to be a lot of gains there. Once we go into this 5 past 5, we go into price discovery again. Then it's crazy. Okay, then it's going to run.
So keep an eye on SUI. And just to give you guys weekly analysis, what I mean by that, okay? We were just looking at Hyper that rejected there, that could potentially go and do this still, go past that wick and then only go test the bottom. But inevitably, all of them will go and test that bottom. So you just need to understand that. SUI did it, HBAR did it, all of these coins did it. So just keep it in the back of your mind. So where we're at right now with Hyper, liquid, let's do it like this. There's still room for this. I'm just saying we could potentially go higher, maybe to 81st before we come down. Okay. And let's quickly have a look at Meme Core. Was one of the coins that I shared with you guys last week. One of those get-ins. So you can see now it's holding in base there. It's holding strong hidden bullish divergences there. Meme Core is set to try and get to 81. This is an easy double your money, sell half, let the rest ride kind of thing. Okay. So keep an eye on that. Be risky. Okay. And know that you don't want to see this thing fall below 42. So there's your setup. Okay. Now let's finish off the stream and look at Bitcoin 4-hour time frame, because I had a bearish analysis. And the argument was that I wanted to short here for more. Why? This is now the trader mindset in me. Remember, the trader doesn't care about what the big picture is. We need to have an impartial look at this. This was going up, going down, making lower lows. So the argument is at this stage with the higher high in the RSI, the expectation was that we could still test these lower areas. Okay, I was wrong. This is the cost of trading, guys. Okay. I also said, look at the alts. They were looking really good, although BTC had the short analysis. Now that we've gone higher again, we've got the weekly overlap. And the rule is very simple. Any of these candles, okay, any of these massive candles, we will have 50% of that overlap. There you have it. Okay. And then there will be a continuation. That is the buddy indicator strat 3. That is what all of this was, okay, that I showed you guys. I'm going to switch on the strat 3 from the buddy indicator. Okay. Massive candle, 50% overlap, TP1, TP2, TP3. There, did it on Meme Core for you. Okay, so that's what it is. So Bitcoin, if it's true for the 4-hour, it's true for the 15-minute, it will be true for Bitcoin on the 4-hour and even for the weekly as well. Okay, so if we apply that same analysis and say, okay, right, there's the big candle. Bitcoin will probably go 120, maybe 190 before we move. And then there will probably be a higher high. That would be the leverage breakout trade. Now, if this is in confluence with what the CME does, remember the CME doesn't have exactly the same pricing as BTC. Okay, so the CME can tickle 119 and Bitcoin still sits at 120 at that stage. It's not the same price always. Okay, that's it. And we could tickle the top of the box like we did there and go make a higher high even. It doesn't necessarily mean we need to go back all the way down to 117. So there you have it. And then the same then will play out with Ethereum on the weekly, just to finish up the stream. Weekly time frame, Ethereum for you guys. Go weekly. We've seen an impressive week for Ethereum. Okay. 4,000 thereabout. That would be the area where I think for the continuation. So look at these levels. Time your alts regarding these levels. You know where I would want to try and leverage trade now. And that's it. That's everything. Now, guys, if you want requests, everything, you know where to find me. I'm in the Discord. Let's see what Michael had to say. Michael Chow. Realness. Euphoria is how I lost 70% of my savings. There's one thing I want to add on to euphoria. We tend to have a misperception of what euphoria is. Okay. When you buy a new car, you say, well, I'm happy I bought a new car. You should actually say, I'm euphoric I bought a new car. Because that is an outlier event. That is more than being happy. And when we look at gains, when we look at these coins and we try and get gains, we tend to say to ourselves, if I can just get this next trade, I'll be happy. And then everything else is sucky. No, if I can do this, I'll be euphoric. The market is going up. Everything is going nicely. Okay. Take profit, because it is what you need to do to remain happy. If you're trying to hit that long-term, that insane retirement. I'm retiring next week trade. You're chasing euphoria. It's a sustainable state of mind. And you're going to do stuff that's going to create a lot of trouble for you, so that when the normal gains that we're experiencing now, it's not even going to look like it's good enough. So try and avoid euphoria, because that is what creates a bull market top. Okay. If something's up 1,000%, nobody wants to sell. Okay. That's the top. Okay. And just keep that in the back of your head. Let's see what else. Spoke to AVAX. Louis, thanks so much. Let's go, guys. You have a lovely day. You know where to find me. I'm in the Discord. And as always, be safe. No financial advice. You've got the info now. Go look at your own portfolio. Make good decisions. Cheers, everybody.